guys, welcome back to another one. Today I'm actually trying out the microphones, got one here and one here because I notice sometimes the audio for these videos, it just kind of sucks. But we'll see how this is. What we're doing today is putting together a 2.5 inch 410 double-aught buck assembly. Now, I've made a recent video showing a 3 pellet assembly of it using the stretch wad. Well, that's what we're doing here. Now, we did test this one out on the range, and we didn't experience any blow through of the wad I was talking about, the base of the shot cup. Sometimes with buckshot and the MG 410 or stretch wad, same thing, the stretch has a taller shot cup. But sometimes if you push them too fast, like 1300 FPS, the pellets will blow right through the gas seal and it'll ruin the pattern. You won't get much velocity, maybe just a few hundred FPS. But with this one, the 4 or 5 we've shot, that's not happened yet. So maybe the dust we're using here, it is a little bit faster burning. Uh, it might not heat up the wad quite as much. Not as much, maybe forces when it first goes off, when you pull the trigger. It may just be less than the little gun, wherever it is, and it's not blowing out the gas seals of the wads. We have done this same thing with little gun, and that did happen, so maybe it's just, again, the faster dust. Long shot is not a slow burning dust by any means, but for 410, it's really dang fast. You can't get by with much using long shot in a 410 unless it's like a slug or something real lightweight. Then yeah, it's okay. Then this is 4 pellets of double aught. That is just under half an ounce. But we are also using obviously the stretch wad, the Fiocchi hulls, which you guys know we aren't huge fans of. These stick pretty much all the time in the Stevens 301 we have, and both of our 410 single shots. Ain't been a problem through Josh's pump. It's a Mossberg 500E, but it has a legit extractor, so it didn't stick in those. Well, they haven't stuck in those. The data I'm using calls for a Shadot hull with a Shadot primer, and by the Shadot primer, the data means the CX50s that the Shadot 410 hulls come with. Well, all the 410 Shadot hulls I have are kind of worn out and they have cracked crimps, so I'm using this once fired Fiocchi. However, it does have the CX50 that the Shadot 410 hulls come with, and Shadot 32 gauge and 2.5 inch 28 gauge. They all come with the CX50s. The dust is already in here, and by the way, today's number of the day, you know what I mean, is 7.5. The data calls for 8, 11,500 psi, 1,200 FPS, but since I am switching hulls, that's the only thing different here. It's just the hull. I did back it down to 7.5. Hopefully we'll see 1150, and if I had to guess, this might be 11,000-ish psi, but I really don't know. I don't have a pressure testing device to allow me to know the pressure, but I am backing it down half a grain using the exact same primer that the data calls for, and yeah, just the hull is different. So, last thing, we need a whisper of an overshot card. I'm using a 410 nitro card. Take off one, maybe 10th slice of it. You don't need the overshot card, but if you don't use it, you'll end up with a sort of, you'll have a few crimp pedals up here and a few down here. It's not even, but it's well enough crimped to not really need the overshot card. I just want crimps that look really nice. I'm OCD about that, so overshot card it is. The data does call for an overshot card. But again, today's number of the day, 7.5. Let's get this started. This is, once again, a once fired Fiocchi. The dust is already in it. The wad we need is the 410 stretch wad, which again is the MG 410 with longer pedals. I'm using a screw here because I don't have the 1/4 inch wad tamper or nudger from Gary Caskey. Well, I have it. I've just lost it and can't find it. And the 3/8 one is too big to fit inside the shot cup. But after that, 4 pellets of, or make that 2 pellets. I'll get some more. I actually have them right here. Sorry for the noise. Someone asked what this can was. It's a can, stop it, B&M brown bread with the raisins. Really good stuff. I've had this since 2019. This can is 6 years old, and it's my double lot can. But the last 2 remaining pellets, and I'll try to show you here. That last pellet does come up like a millimeter above the top of the wad. 95% of that pellet is inside the wad, so everything is encased. We're not adding any buffer here. The data doesn't call for it, and the PSI for the original data is kind of high. So I don't want to add any more weight than what's already in here. That might get us into overpressure. We don't want that. But lastly, just a tiny sliver of an overshot card, and I ain't kidding. It's about probably 10 thou. You guys that play guitar, the high E string, for a standard tuning set, or E flat, it don't matter, is 10 thou. This is about the thickness of a high E string guitar string set. That was a Shatner-esque pause if I ever heard one. But over here I have the OMV 410 6-point crimp starter and the OMV 410 Rebacitor. I know it's kind of far away, but crimp looks really, or the pre-crimp looks really nice, rather. Backstation, I have the Rebacitor set up. And here is the crimp right now. I'll hit this with the BN2 in just a moment, but you can see that one's going to come out really nice. It already pretty much don't need it, but it is square on top. The BN2, or actually, it's the OMV crimp finisher. I'm not sure what they call it, but it's not the BN2. It's not even a GUP. It's OMV. But you can tell that's going to be a really nice looking crimp. It just needs some taper, and this one will be good to go. By the way, down there above the brass, that is not a crushed hull or anything. That is just the base wad showing up above the brass. And here's the end result. We do have a taper on it now. As you can see, the top edge is rolled over. That's for better feeding in like a semi, I guess a pump too, but really just a semi. It is well and deep set enough. The crimp pedals are all even. There might be a tiny, there is, pinhole right in the center of it. Might be hard to see for you guys. So maybe go to like a 15 thou overshot card. I shot that one a little bit low, I guess. But overall, that is a really good looking shell. Now, like I was saying, we have experienced the same thing using this. The bottom of the shot cup blows right through and it ruins the gas seal, and you end up with a blowed out pattern, real low FPS, which is never a good thing. But again, it hasn't happened to us with this one, although it still can, so just keep that in mind. If you want to throw together some of these, it might not work. And if this does work for you guys, and you find the hull sticks in your gun, I honestly just switch over to a AA HS hull, which is straight wall. And, well, for those, I'd recommend making a few of them and sending them off for testing, just so you know the pressure. Start low at like 7 or something, 7.5 maybe, which is what I did here. And the CX50s, you can get those. That would be the primer I recommend. And maybe you got yourself a really nice 410 4-pellet double lot shell here. Now, this might also be a good option for like a judge or a governor, or really any revolver that, 45 Colt 410 thing. This might be a good option for that at really close range. Those do have a rifled barrel, and this is shot, so the rifled barrel will spread out the pellets relatively quickly. If you ditch the wad, that'll mitigate that somewhat, but you're still going to have a fairly wide pattern past, I want to say 10 yards. Now, since the pressure is kind of high on this one, at least the original data at 11,000 PSI, you might try going down to 4 pellets of 32 cal here. If you go to 32 cal, the entire stack of pellets will be inside the shot cup. Like I was saying earlier, just the basically top point of the fourth pellet in there is peeking up above the shot cup. So 4 pellets at 32 cal, those will definitely be all within the shot cup there. And a little bit lighter weight, not a whole lot, but a little bit lighter weight will decrease the pressure. You might gain more speed too. Actually, why not go ahead and show you that? This is 4 pellets at 32 cal, and the top pellet still is kind of peeking out a little bit, but as you can see, most of it is in the shot cup. And this in grains is 907 grains. If we roll that, 907. I meant 197. Roll over to ounces is 0.45, so still under half an ounce. The actual data lists this payload at 208 grains, and this is 197. So also it might be worth patterning them both, the 32 cal and 33 cal, just to see what your gun likes better. If you have 31 cal, these are powder coated green, that would be, in terms of grains, 165 ounces, 0.37, basically 3/8 of an ounce. So that's also an option, I suppose. Turn off. And the 31 cal, all of the top pellet is in the shot cup. So just in case you were wondering, there you go. These do have room for buffer. The 31 cals here, the weight of them is light enough for buffer, and you'll probably most likely still be well underneath that 208 grain mark. Here's something kind of cool. If you have any 9mm Flowbert cases, which is rimfire, and it is the smallest caliber shotgun that we have available in the United States, well, it fits inside of a MG 410 wad. So I guess if you really wanted to, you could fill this like a third of the way up with lead, which I have done for some of these to use as slugs. Put like a nitro card inside here, and then you might have a pretty cool 410 slug. Just keep the weight of this thing plus the lead in it together under 208 grains. Anyways, guys, enough rambling. I was just brainstorming and decided to do it on camera for some reason. But anyways, please like and subscribe. We always appreciate that. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comment section below, and we'll get back to you. And if you want to, go check out our Patreon, checking that mic. A link to that, as well as a link to our Instagram, Rumble, and merch store will all be down in the description below. But other than that, you guys take it easy, and we'll see you in the next one.